Assalamu alaikum, my dear student and friend. Today I'm going to present the lecture on aldehydes and ketones. In today's lecture, we will discuss the nomenclature of aldehyde and ketones, physical properties, and some synthesis of aldehyde and ketones. In synthesis section, the first two, A and B, we will discuss the both aldehyde and ketone synthesis, while in C we will discuss which is specific for the aldehyde synthesis, and D is specific for ketone synthesis. Now let us start the nomenclature of aldehyde and ketones. Uh, and the nomenclature has the same or similar rules we have discussed in case of alkane, alcohol, ether, vice versa. You have to select the longest chain, and we have to focus aldehyde as a parent. And if any molecule containing aldehydic group, its suffix end with all, and ketone suffix will end with on group. And we have to number the longest carbon chain containing the carbonyl carbon. Starting at the carbonyl carbon should be the priority. Now let us take some example. For example, in this case, we have the mixture of methyl and the chloro group. The longest chain is the 5 carbon chain, and the priority would be given to the carbonyl carbon of the aldehyde group. Now if you start from the right side, let's say this is the carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and carbon number 2 have the 2 methyl, and carbon number 4 had a chloro group. We have to arrange according to the alphabetical order. Chloro start with C. We will specify its number. Let's say, for example, 4 chloro, and at carbon number 2 we have 2 methyl, so we will write 2 dimethyl, and its pentane, and the E will be replaced by the all group, so it will be pentanol. So the whole name will be 4 chloro 2 dimethyl pentanol. The other example, we have the ketone example. The longest chain is the 7 carbon chain, and the ketonic group is present at carbon number 3. At carbon number 4 we have the ethyl, and carbon number 6 we have the bromo. We have to give the priority to ketone over halogen, right? So that's why we are starting from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You can see here at carbon number 4 we have the ethyl, and at carbon number 6 we have the bromo. Now just write them according to the alphabetical order. Bromo B will come first, so we will write 6 bromo. 6 is the position of the bromine, and 4 ethyl. 4 is the position of the ethyl, and 3 heptane on. E of heptane is being replaced with the on group. Now if we have some more group which have the priority over aldehyde or ketone, then aldehyde or ketone group would be used as basically the branch. Now in case if aldehyde is a branch, and it is basically in which one molecule where we have some more priority containing group, then methyl group will be prefixes as methanol or formoyl group. Similarly, if we have some compound in which we have the ketonic group, and ketonic is having the low priority over the other group, then how the ketone group will be prefixes in case of the branch like ethanol or the acetyl group, it will be named as. And if we have some, it's a journal basically term. R is can be a carbon chain, or R can be any other carbon chain. It is prefixes as the alkanoyl group. Now let us take some example. For example, in this case we have basically a carboxylic acid group and the aldehyde group. Carboxylic acid has basically the predominancy over the aldehyde group. Now this aldehyde group will be termed as the branch. Now, according to the number, if this carbon is carbon number 1 and this is carbon number 2, so we can say it's a 2-methanol, and its whole group is known as the benzoic acid. And in common naming, it's orthoformoyl benzoic acid. Now, let us take another example. Let's say, for example, if we have sulfonic group having the predominancy over the carbonyl group, whether it is aldehyde or ketone. Now, see, this sulfonic group is present in this benzene ring at carbon number 4, according to this situation. Now, see, it will be named as 4 ethane oil, because as we have already shown in the previous slide, that if we have the ketonic group, how it will be named as alkane oil group. It's the 4-ethanol benzene sulfonic acid. In common name, it will be named as para-acetyl benzene sulfonic acid. Physical properties: if we compare aldehyde or ketone with similar molecular weight, alkane or alcohol, definitely aldehyde and ketone have high boiling point as compared to their corresponding alkane. The reason is basically both molecules have the dipole-dipole moment or dipole-dipole interactions. While when we compare the aldehyde or ketone with the corresponding alcohol, they have the less boiling point with their corresponding alcohol. The reason alcohol have the hydrogen bonding. Now let us start with the synthesis of aldehyde and ketone. The first synthesis is basically the oxidation. Oxidation of primary or secondary alcohol. When we react primary alcohol with a mild oxidizing agent, which is PCC, which is known as pyridinium chlorochromate, the end product will be aldehyde. Keep remember, student, when we treat aldehyde with this, like for example, potassium permanganate or potassium dichromate, the end product will not be aldehyde because it is difficult to control the oxidation, and ultimately if we treat primary alcohol with a strong oxidizing agent like KMnO4 or potassium dichromate, the end product would be the corresponding carboxylic acid. Similarly, if we treat secondary alcohol with PCC, which is pyridinium chlorochromate, the end product will be the corresponding ketone. Let's take some real example. For example, we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon chain alcohol. When we treat with the pyridinium chlorochromate in dichloromethane solvent, this alpha carbon alcohol will convert into their corresponding ketone, which is basically the aldehyde because it's a primary alcohol. Similarly, if we treat another example of the primary alcohol, the PCC, it will again give the aldehydic moiety. When we have the secondary alcohol and we treat with the PCC, the ultimately the secondary alcohol will give you a ketonic group. This is acetophenone. The next synthesis of aldehyde and ketone is by means of the ozonolysis. This is very interesting reaction. Now keep remember, we have several type of alkene. Of course, we have cis trans alkene, or we may have sometime basically tetra substituted alkene or tri substituted alkene. In this case, if you look carefully, this is the alkene, and R. If we consider these are basically the alkyl group, now this alkene is known as the tetra substituted alkene. Definitely when we treat with ozonolysis, we are talking about the ozone. This oxidation can be done with dimethyl sulfide or triphenyl phosphine as well. Now in this case, this double bond will cleave from the center, and if it is tetra substituted molecule, we have two corresponding carbonyl compound which should be ketones. Similarly, if we have a tri substituted alkene, means of course we have a double bond here, and we consider these are basically the alkyl chain, and this is basically the hydrogen. In this case, when we treat with the ozone, this molecule will cleave from the center, and we have ultimately one ketone and one aldehydic group. Now, if we have the alkene, which is basically a di-substituted, whether cis or trans, we will get basically two aldehyde molecule. This is very interesting thing you should remember. Now let us see some specific example. For example, here we have basically a molecule in which we have a double bond bonded with the acyclic hexane, and we treat with the ozone, we have basically a ketone and the aldehyde molecule. And in this case, we have basically a alkene, a terminal alkene. When we treat with the ozone, we have basically two aldehydic molecules. Similarly, if we have a cyclic alkene and when we treat it, we have basically two carbonyl moieties. Now just keep remember and focus on these examples, that example 1 and 2, in both cases we have the alkene which is acyclic and out of the ring, which is not in the cycle. In this case we have two carbonyl compound or two molecule, two different molecule or same molecule, depend on the structure. If we have basically symmetrical structure, we have the two symmetrical molecule. If we have an asymmetrical alkene, we definitely have a two asymmetrical carbonyl compound. It could be aldehyde or ketone. Now, in the third example, you can see very carefully that here we have a alkene which is in cyclic form. In cyclic alkene, we have the one molecule. Now, the cleavage will depend whether we have the aldehydic or the ketonic group. When we cleave from here, definitely because of this methyl group, this carbon is converted into the ketone, while here we have the hydrogen. That's why this carbon is being converted into the aldehyde, and we just have the one molecule. Aldehyde and can be synthesized by the reduction of acyl chloride and ester. Now keep remember, definitely carboxylic acid directly cannot be converted into the aldehyde. First it will be treated with the we have to make it a very reactive species like acetyl chloride, but we may write it. Now in this example you can see that when we treat any carboxylic acid, ester or acid chloride, and we have basically the strong reducing agent like lithium aluminum hydride, first it will give you the aldehyde, then it will not stop here, it will give you the corresponding alcohol. But we have to synthesize aldehyde or carbonyl compound. So how we can stop this reaction? Now keep remember, aldehyde or lithium aluminum hydride is a very powerful reducing agent, and that's why this reaction will not stop on the aldehyde. It will give you the end product, the alcohol. In order to reduce its reactivity, we have to use basically a mild reducing agent. Lithium aluminum hydride is not basically a good reagent to synthesize aldehyde, right? So we have two aluminum hydride derivative that are less reactive than lithium aluminum hydride. These are the structure, and these are basically a mild reducing agent. You can see here the first one is lithium tritertiary aluminum hydride. Now this is basically a derivative of the lithium aluminum hydride, and the next reagent is dibal, which is known as diisobutyl aluminum hydride, which is abbreviated as dibal H. Now these are basically mild reducing agent as compared to the lithium aluminum hydride. When we treat any acid chloride or ester with these two reagent, our end product will be aldehyde, not basically the corresponding alcohol. Now let us take some example. For example, here we have acetyl chloride. When we treat with lithium aluminum, a derivative of the tritertiary butoxy lithium aluminum hydride in water will give you the corresponding aldehyde. And when we treat ester with dibal, will give you the corresponding aldehyde. And when we treat with the nitrile with dibal, will give you the corresponding aldehyde. Now just keep remember that when we treat nitrile with lithium aluminum hydride, the end product will not be the alcohol, the end product will be the corresponding amine. Now let us take some example. For example, first, how we can synthesize aldehyde using acetyl chloride. Now keep remember, acetyl chloride is very reactive. First we have to synthesize it from the corresponding carboxylic acid. When we treat carboxylic acid with SOCl2, which is known as thionyl chloride, we can also use PCl3 and PCl5 phosphorus pentachloride as well to convert carboxylic acid into the corresponding acetyl chloride. Now, this acetyl chloride, when treated with the mild reducing agent, which is basically tritertiary butoxy lithium aluminum hydride, in ether, and then on workup will give you the corresponding aldehyde. Let us show you some specific example. In this case, we have basically an acetyl chloride derivative. When we treat with the triethyl butoxylithium aluminum hydride, we have this the end product, which is basically corresponding aldehyde. Now see the mechanism how this acetyl chloride convert into the corresponding alcohol. The first step is basically the chelation between oxygen and the aluminum. Once the oxygen donate the lone pair to the empty orbital of the aluminum, we have this complex. Okay, now what happened in the other case? We basically this triethyl butoxy aluminum hydride will transfer the hydride from its part, and this hydride will attack on the electrophilic center of this intermediate, which result in the breakage of the pi bond, and the pi bond will shift over the oxygen, and then we have this intermediate, and we form the carbon, oxygen, and lithium bond along with this side product. Now here is basically a transchelation will take place. The oxygen is basically chelating with the lithium, which is the metal. Now this oxygen will chelate with the more electrophilic aluminum, and we have this complex. This is why, because in this case the lone pair from the oxygen will collapse to this carbon, which result in the removal of this chloride ion in the form of the lithium chloride. And then we have this intermediate, which is on hydrolysis or the usual workup will give you the corresponding aldehydic group. Aldehydes from esters and nitriles. Both ester and nitrile can be reduced to aldehyde using diisobutyl aluminum hydride. Let's see some example. For example, reduction of an ester to aldehyde. In this case, we are using ester and diibal, diisobutyl aluminum hydride. First step will be the same. The oxygen will donate the electron to the empty orbital of the aluminum, and we have this complex. Then this in this complex, intermolecular hydride ion transfer will take place, and this hydride ion will attack on this electrophilic carbon to make this intermediate, and ultimately on usual workup in hydrolysis we have basically the corresponding aldehyde. How nitrile can be converted into the aldehyde? Let's see the mechanism here. When nitrile treat with the diibal, definitely the lone pair on the nitrile nitrogen will attack on the empty orbital of the aluminum and will give you this complex. And then in the next step, the hydride ion will transfer on this carbon, like in this way, and we have this complex, which is give you the imine, which on hydrolysis or the usual workup will give you the corresponding aldehyde. These are some specific examples. For example, here we have the cyclic ester, which on treatment with the diibal and will give you the corresponding aldehyde. And similarly, when we have basically the nitrile treated with the diibal, and of course in the next step with the usual workup with the water, we have the aldehyde. The number of carbon will remain same. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbon aldehyde will give you. You keep remember one more thing, that diibal is basically a selective reducing agent. It will reduce only the nitrile group, not the alkene group. But once we have the lithium aluminum hydride, it will reduce all. This is basically the main difference using a diibal or the lithium aluminum hydride. Now, how we can synthesize ketone from the nitrile? Let's see. These are basically a nitrile group. Once we treat with the Rm, alkyl metal, it could be metal, could be lithium or a magnesium, is alkyl lithium or alkyl magnesium in ether. And then in the first step, when nitrile treat with the alkyl metal, it could be alkyl lithium or alkyl magnesium. The intermediate will be the imine, which on workup will give you the corresponding ketone. The specific example, see for example, here we have the 4 carbon chain nitrile. When we treat with the methyl lithium in ether, will give you the corresponding ketone. And another example, when we have the cyclic nitrile on treatment with the isopropyl magnesium bromide, this isopropyl group will attach with this carbon and will convert into the ketonic group as well. That's all for today's lecture. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the reactions of aldehyde and ketone.